Hello, friends lovers of trophies and fascinating stories from World War II. In this video, we've prepared several stories about incredible discoveries made both by searches and by ordinary people around the world, so let's begin. I-153M6 fighter aircraft, a World War II aircraft with the remains of its pilot, was discovered in the Murmansk region of Russia. It is believed that the pilot died in 1941. The I-153M6 Cheka was a Soviet single-engine piston fighter aircraft representing a further development of the I-15 and I-15 bis family. Compared to its predecessor, the I-153 featured improved aerodynamics, a more powerful M6 engine with a variable pitch propeller, and a reinforced structure. It also included an armored seatback to protect the pilot. Despite delays and construction challenges, the I-153M60 entered service in 1938 and participated in several conflicts, including the battles of Khalkhin, the Second Sino-Japanese War, the Soviet-Finnish War, and the early stages of the war against Germany. According to preliminary information, the pilot embarked on his final flight in mid-autumn of 1941. At present, investigators are working to locate the deceased pilot's relatives. It is noted that the exact cause of the pilot's death has not yet been determined. However, his identity has already been established through archival records. The remains will be laid to rest either in the pilot's homeland, according to the wishes of his relatives, or at a memorial cemetery. He froze where he fell. German paratroopers found in Poland after 80 years. Archaeologists in northern Poland have unearthed the remains of 5 German soldiers killed in the final stages of World War II. Among the grisly remains are those of 2 Luftwaffe paratroopers killed by Soviet shelling as the Red Army and Polish forces advanced. The body of one was discovered exactly where he fell in 1945. The find is more than just historically significant, however, as it also has an important human dimension. The dog tags found on the corpses were intact, not having been snapped in half in accordance with German military procedures at the time. This detail indicates that the men were never confirmed dead and were presumably recorded as missing in action. Researchers hope the tags will help them identify the soldiers and inform their descendants of their fate. The remains and other artifacts unearthed at the dig will be sent to a local military museum for further examination. 45mm gun. Unfortunately, there is very little information about this rare find nowadays, but that does not make it any less interesting. Russian searches discovered and recovered a 45mm gun from a river dating back to the Second World War. The 45mm anti-tank gun model 1937 was the main weapon of the Red Army during the early stage of the war. The gun was officially adopted into service on April 24, 1938, and serial production began on June 6, 1938. After 1943, it was used much less frequently as the gun's caliber could no longer effectively fulfill its intended role because German tank armor had become significantly thicker. However, some examples remained in combat until the very last days of the war and even took part in the assault on Berlin. It is clear that the gun recovered from the water had been damaged in battle. It can be assumed that it was being transported on a raft during a river crossing and, after a direct hit, sank to the bottom. What the searchers plan to do with this find remains unknown. That's all for today. Friends, to support our channel, you can send a super thanks of any amount or become a sponsor for just $1. Good luck to everyone.